Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class today. Thank you for joining me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching the recording, I appreciate you watching. Thank you once again for joining me today, everybody. So, today I've got us some things to talk about, right? First of all, let me say I'm looking forward to reading all of your midterm metrics reports and looking at your midterm exams. We are, roughly halfway through the semester here. I think we're a little past halfway now. So, I guess it's all downhill from here. But today we're talking about the building blocks of buzz, because we're talking about building community and what we can kind of build community around. And as we're talking about building community here, buzz tends to be one of the more important things that can help us grow a community and get us to a place to where we're actually bringing more people in and working them down that funnel that we've discussed previously, right? As we are looking to sort of develop an awareness for our brand or an awareness for what we're doing on social media, it's buzz oftentimes that gets us to where we want to be with our social media in general. So I've got a few slides here of things that I want to talk about, and then I have a case study that I want to discuss. So I'm going to kind of go through the slides here relatively quickly while still getting all of my points across here. So that's basically going to be the plan for today. So when we're looking at buzz and we're looking at social media in general, let's start off by talking about sort of our mission here. Right? What is our mission on social media? This kind of extends to, when we think back to what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, right, in our last live class, since we didn't have a live class last week for midterm week. When we think about that, we started talking about developing SMART goals using a SWOT analysis. And in developing these goals, we're able to kind of flesh out our mission. So understanding our goals brings us to this point to where we say, well, what is our mission? What are we trying to do? And every community has a mission, even your community, right? Every social media community that we see, every real world community that we see has some sort of mission, some sort of collective idea of something that needs to be accomplished. And if you're trying to build up your own personal social media brand and a community around that, it might be, about your skills or your personality or something that you do. If you're building it for a business, the business has a mission. Most, if not all, businesses have a mission statement, and that mission statement is something that is going to be reflexive in the mission of the social media community as far as all that goes. So when we're looking at building a community, we need to examine what our mission is and its place in what we're doing, right? What is our ultimate goal? What is our mission? And how does our social media and the things that we're doing on social media reflect back on those goals, reflect back on that mission that we've developed? And so at the end of the day, this mission is going to be the driving factor, right? This mission is going to be what piques the interest of the next generation of your community members. It's what's going to, because, like-minded people flock together in communities, right? And that was another thing that we went back to a couple of weeks ago, right? With the idea of building communities in that sort of way, with giving your users or giving your community members different roles within the communities, allowing them to do different things within the communities where they're sharing their own talents and building the overall community in general. So if we want to bring in the next generation of community members or bring in more community members to an existing community, The idea at the center of it is that you have a mission, and that mission is going to be what brings people in. And then from there, we can do kind of what we've discussed previously, where everybody can kind of bring their own things to the table in order to support that mission. And so typically, as I mentioned, right, we start off here with a mission statement. A mission statement's not exciting, but it's a good jumping off point. It's a good thing that I can kind of hold up and say, this is my mission. Everything that I do is going to reflect back onto this mission. Right? With our mission statement, we kind of want to hold up a mirror to our social media and or whatever we're doing, really, and see the mission statement reflected back in what we're doing. If we don't see that, if we don't have that, right, then there's some incongruity between our goals, our wants, and what we're doing, which is going to lead to, basically failure, for lack of a better term there. So how do we build a mission statement? Well, the ideal mission statement is concise, specific, and functional. One of the things that I say a lot when I'm talking about building a mission statement or getting a mission statement written down is one of the things that a mission statement should do is a mission statement should set expectations. It should set expectations for you and or the people that work in your business. And it should set expectations to your customers, your communities, the people outside of your business, or outside of the people that are doing the work here, so that they can kind of have some expectation regarding what is going to happen on your site. Right? So, for example, if we look at the Cleveland Community College mission statement, let's pull that over here. Right here at the top of this page, we have the Cleveland Community College mission statement. We see it highlighted here in purple. It says, "Our mission, driving student success and economic impact for individuals and businesses in our community through diverse education and training opportunities." So, how does this set expectations, right? When we're thinking about how a mission statement sets expectations, what are the expectations that are set for the customers, the communities that are surrounding this here? Who are our stakeholders that we can see in here? And this is one sort of case study that we're looking at, but I got another one for us in just a little bit. Who are our stakeholders here? What expectations have been set for them? So when we look at our customers in our community here, we see economic impact for individuals and businesses. Right? If we make that in the simplest terms, people and businesses of the local community are going to make more money. Right? As a result of the mission of Cleveland Community College, as a result of what we've got going on here. Right? So we're setting these expectations that, if you come to Cleveland Community College and you do things here, then it's going to have an economic impact on you. It's going to help you make more money. It's going to help the company that you work for make more money. Right? And the other bit of expectation here is student success. And that's a little vague, right? Because the definition of success is different for everybody. But then that leaves the mission statement to be that, as a student at Cleveland Community College, your success, whatever that means to you, is important. And so there is an expectation being established here that the college is going to do, or the college's business, I guess I should say, is to support your success, whatever that means. And then how are they going to do that? And in turn, what expectations does that set for employees, people on the other side of the college here, people like me, your instructors, the staff, the administration here? Well, that's the second half of the mission statement, right? Providing diverse education and training opportunities. So we should provide education and training opportunities, but we should provide a breadth of education and training opportunities. And that's going to, in turn, since there are a lot of different types of businesses in the immediate area, right, that's going to help provide that economic impact for the different types of businesses, because we're offering diverse or multiple different types of education and training opportunities. And it's also going to help drive that student success factor, because success is different for every student. And so if we have different types of education and different types of training opportunities, then these different types of opportunities can promote that success. So at the end of the day, right, we're setting expectations for the people that work at the college and the people that come to the college, that use the college's resources. One is that, it sets a baseline expectation of success and economic impact. And the other is that, if you work for the college, you should be striving to provide diverse education and training opportunities. And so concise, specific, functional, right? Everything that we see there. We're establishing expectations for ourselves and our audience. So I encourage you, as you're kind of thinking about, okay, where do I go from here? Right? Because that's been one of the challenges that we've kind of been facing so far, is like, okay, I can start doing this, I can start posting, I can start, actually doing the act of social media or participating in social media. Well, where do I take it? Right? How do I focus what I'm doing? And when we're talking about a mission statement here, we're talking about creating and building that focus. Now, the mission statement should be used to help inform your decision making, right? In business, when you have a mission statement, all the decisions that you make, it's the overarching goal of the entire business. So all of the decisions that you make in terms of where you spend your time, where you spend your money, the messaging that you want to put out there, holds up a mirror to the mission statement. Right? So, for example, if Cleveland Community College says they want to provide diverse education and training opportunities in order to promote student success and economic development of individuals and businesses, then the bulk of the budget should go to those diverse educational and training opportunities. It should go, the bulk of the investment of time, the bulk of the investment of resources should go back to that mission statement and reflect in on that mission statement. So everything from our budget to the direction of our content should hinge on the mission statement, which is awesome. Right? It gives us that foundation. It gives us a sturdy place to build, but it's not buzz. Right? I mean, that's planned. Buzz is a little more organic. Buzz is about getting excited. So not only do we have this mission statement, but what gets us excited about that mission statement? Buzz is all about excitement. If I say my mission statement is to, say, provide diverse educational and training opportunities. What gets me excited about that? What gets me excited about student success? What gets me excited about economic impact on our communities? I mean, there's enough that should be able to get you excited in that, right? When you think about economic impact on businesses in our communities and how that radiates out to building stronger communities. But when you're thinking about your own social media and what you're doing on social media, what gets you excited about that? What are your hopes, your dreams, your wants, your needs? What are your fears? What makes you feel something about what you're doing? Because the important thing to realize here is that when you have a message that you're communicating and you're communicating it to an audience, this is an audience of people. Right? People that have their own hopes, dreams, wants, needs, and fears. And they found you because they were looking for someone who was like-minded. They were looking for someone who had similar ideas or was doing something that they wanted to see or something that they wanted to do, and they see you doing it. And it's one thing if you're just kind of like, yeah, hello, welcome, I'm doing this thing, we're going to be playing this game today, or we're going to be having a look at this document and talking about it a little bit, or we're going to be doing this or that, or... Because it almost sounds like you've convinced yourself that what you're doing is not important. And so if you're acting kind of like what you're doing is not important, or what you're doing doesn't have the emotional pull to make it worth your own time, why should anybody else get excited about what you're doing? Why should the buzz happen there? Right? You're connecting with the audience. You're connecting with people. It's easy to sort of generalize people. Make them online, right? Via social media communities. Just make them sort of faceless masses. Just make them a number that's attached to a website. Because we don't see them, right? We can't connect with them. Can't reach out and grab their shoulder. Right? But intellectually, cognitively, you're putting statements out into the world, or you're doing things, or you're acting in a certain way. And whatever you're doing is making a connection. Right? It's bringing people in. And you're connecting with people on a very human level. So if you seem bored or blasé, or maybe seem like what you're doing is not important, nobody else is going to think it's important either, because you're connecting on this level that really the things that you don't say is just as important as anything else. It becomes how you say it. Right? Because what makes more sense? Like if I got on a microphone and I just said like, hey, we're really excited about what we're doing, and we have a lot of vision and goal for the future, and we really hope that we'll be able to achieve what we're wanting to achieve. Or if I got on and I said, hey, you know what? We're looking at these different opportunities that we can provide people. We have students graduating at rates that we hadn't seen before. We have students going out into the workforce and getting new and better jobs, making more money, being able to better support their families. And that's exciting. We're doing that. Like, what's going to connect better? What's going to get your message across better? Reframe it, right? Take it away from the college. Just saying like, hey, I really enjoy playing this game. Um, it helps me not be bored. Or, or, Overwatch is a lot of fun, right? Like I met some really cool people through it. We play together a lot. It's challenging. It's different. It gives me another outlet. I enjoy it, and I want you to be able to enjoy it too. I want you to be able to get the benefits of it that I got out of it. What's more likely to create buzz? Right? I mean, I think at this point it's getting pretty obvious. But we can kind of think about it like politics and political ads, right? We've all seen political ads, right? It's 2023. We're about, within the next year or so, we're about to see a ton more of political ads since we're entering into a big election year next year. What are they talking about? Are they talking about the day-to-day, mundane, just active policy making? The process of a bill getting passed and becoming a law? No. Now, they're not doing that. They're trying to connect with you on that human level. They're trying to build that buzz. They want to focus on results, and they want to focus on plans and how plans can change the future. And so sometimes they're focused on positive things that promote change. Sometimes they're focused on negative things that promote fear. But in both instances, they're designed to connect with you on a human level and give you this human level understanding of where they're at or what they believe or why you should vote for them. Right? And so when we think about the fear that's sometimes conjured up by political ads, we know that sometimes it's spin and sometimes it's things that maybe aren't quite as true as what a singular person is saying because they want to win. And they're going to use this tactic. So we have to, try to think about, again, ethical ramifications of these things. Right? And that at the end of the day, really, honesty is the best policy. Right? If we're transparent, if we're open, if we are, talking about what makes us excited, then other people want to be excited about these things too. So if your community building surrounds excitement that's been generated from the opportunities created by your mission statement, then we want to make sure that all of the planks of that mission is clear. Every single part of that mission statement, concise, specific, right? It's understandable and it's clear. So everyone knows what they're supporting, whom they're supporting, and feels good about it. So if you maintain transparency and you're excited about things, then the people who support you, the people who are your demographic, who are looking at the same things you are going to get excited with you. We can't expect people to get excited for us when we're not excited for ourselves. We want our community, via buzz that we're creating, to get excited with us. And we want to do our best to try not to involve people outside the demographic, right? If we have a certain group of people that we're saying that this is our audience, these are the people that we're looking for, these are the people that we want to be excited about this thing. But basically everyone else but that group is excited about it, then we're not really achieving our goals, right? We want to make sure that we're focusing our messaging, focusing our buzz, focusing our excitement to the demographic that we want to reach, that we think needs our service or product or would be interested in what we're doing. Maybe if they're just not into it, we need to go back to that SWOT analysis and look at maybe how we can use these weaknesses and threats as the potential to give us a pivot point and go into a different direction. But we do want to avoid negative energy, right? Mentioned the term fear a few times now. And fear is a motivator, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or I can't remember the other one. It's been expanded in more recent years. Like, we're familiar with fight or flight, but then there's like fight, flight, freeze, or feign. Maybe there's the fourth one. There's a fourth one that I can't remember at the moment. But fear is a motivator. Fear triggers that sort of response. And fear, as a result, can start buzz, but it's negative energy. It's not positive energy. And so in that case, buzz becomes bad. It's bad buzz. For example, disparaging another community for your own benefit is about the worst thing you can do. Right? Because it makes you and your community appear petty and indignant, and it also alienates that other community that maybe could have had some overlap. So we want to identify things that are going to bring about opportunity and the ability to collaborate with others. If they don't really believe in the same sort of vision, that's okay. But we don't want to turn people away who could be community contributors, right? Like, there are opportunities there for bigger things if we look beyond a shallow scope. And so buzz is typically created around a cycle, right? Typically we think about buzz being generic, but or not generic's not the term that I was looking for. Organic. Typically we think about buzz being organic. That buzz just sort of happens, but that's not true. Right? Buzz, if it's good buzz, then it might seem organic. Right? Because when you're doing the best things, oftentimes nobody knows that you're doing them at all. Right? If you're doing things right, a lot of the times nobody knows you're doing them. Right? So we sit down and build a recipe for what we want to achieve. Look at our goals, look at our mission statement, look at our SWOT analysis. What do we want to achieve? What all is involved in achieving it? Just sit down and come up with a plan. That's the first part of our buzz cycle. Second's the build up. Right? You don't necessarily want to go straight to eating your steak. Right? Maybe you want to have a little bit of the appetizer. Maybe you want to have a little bit of the side dishes. Don't go straight to the main. Just start building it up a little bit. Start with an appetizer. Work your way up to the big announcement or the big thing. Build up some excitement. Throw out some teases. You see some people doing this exceptionally well. You see other people doing this not quite as well, but they tried. But it builds this air of excitement, this air of mystery around this new thing, and that's going to get people talking, right? That's going to help generate buzz. Then when it comes time, when it's at the right time, when we've got enough people sort of buzzing around it, then we make the big announcement. We throw it out there, and we say, we've got this now. And if it's something new that is reflexive of our goals, of our opportunities, of our strengths, then we're going to get this swell of support. And then, as we do with basically everything, we stop and we take some time to look at, well, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? What could we do better? Right? And just review and determine how we can improve. And so if we're doing that on a fairly regular basis, right, as we're getting big new things to get excited about, that's going to help us grow. Now, I want to close today by looking at a case study. Here it is on Twitter. And this examines a case study of a TikTok. And this surrounds Clancy's Auto Shop, just a random, relatively small auto body shop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they built buzz. And they did it by connecting with people on a human level. Right? We see, over 50 million views, 187,000 plus followers in only 7 days. And so to kind of understand what's going on here, like one of the things you have to realize is that, well, maybe, just maybe, if you understand who the audience is, who's on TikTok, right, which probably isn't a ton of what we would consider to be regular body shop users, how would we reach them? And how might we get younger people who maybe, aren't looking at these sorts of things to come to our body shop and use it for our services? And so we get this. A standard, something that's very standardly TikTok appearing here. And it just, it seems to represent a social media manager who's been hired here at Clancy's Body Shop. And they're putting out this message and they're saying, hey, guys, I lied on my resume and I got a job doing the social media of this body shop. Please blow this up so I don't get fired. Right? So, what are we doing here? We're appealing to human emotion. And we're appealing to the audience that's in the place where you're at. Right? We've talked before in the past about going to your demographic or the demographic that you're trying to reach. And that's exactly what they did here. Right? In the video itself, if we look at the TikTok itself here, it has nothing to do at all with the body shop itself or getting body shop services. Nothing about Body Shop here. But you can see here on the right-hand side the kind of impact this had. 4.1 million likes, 138,000 comments, 111,000 plus bookmarks. A big deal. Right? And it's all about appealing and generating buzz here. And this individual here who was posting about this has their final numbers here. 21.2 million views for this particular TikTok, 4.1 million likes, 13.7, 13.8 comments, 1,000 comments, almost 35,000 shares. For a small body shop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or wherever it was. But the best part about it, right, is since they figured out that this worked, since they were able to kind of connect with in this sort of way to get people excited, they kept doing it. Right, they kept going that direction. Right, we see they had another one here. They got 11.9 million views, 3.1 million likes. Or I think these are 3 different ones. Yeah, that's what it is. They had 3 more TikToks from this point hit over 1 million views, over 2 million views, some as high as over 10 million views. Right, and they're all based around the same concept. Of this sort of social media manager who maybe shouldn't have the job. It's just a joke, right? Like it's not real, obviously. But they got all this engagement on their TikTok, and in turn they got all of these Google reviews where people left them positive reviews on Google. And they built a community around this auto body shop. Because they reached their they reached the demographic. They were able to connect with people on a human level. And they were consistent in the way they did it. It generated buzz, got people excited, got a community built. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. And so with that being said, that's where we'll wrap up for today. If anybody has any questions, we'll take them now. Interesting case study there. I encourage you all to look it up online if you want to learn a little bit more about it. But with that being said, that's all that I have for you for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.